Hi there. Today we're going to take a look at strumming patterns. And if you're a full-on beginner, this is a great place to start. So what I like to do when I'm learning my strumming patterns is I don't want to concentrate here at all on any chords. Now, you can play a simple C chord to practice, but if you don't want to annoy other people in your house, you can simply just mute your strings. And this is kind of called a Z chord because there is no actual sound because we're not pressing the strings down to get sound. So you can take your hand and just gently touch your strings and concentrate on your strumming. So when we're strumming, there's several schools of thought on how to strum. I think the best based on my experience, but feel free to try out some other videos to see what's more comfortable for you for strumming. And if you've played a guitar before, if you've played another stringed instrument where you're used to strumming, then by all means stay with what's comfortable. So what we tend to do is when we strum, we use the top of our fingernail and we drag that down. And we drag that down over top of all four strings. But when you come back up, your finger comes back up in a hook, like so. And we just pull those strings back up. So if I do that with my C chord, can you hear the difference between the nail and the flat of your finger? So that would be a straight strum, and that's called down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, I'm holding these fingers in. You don't have to. You can leave your fingers gently hanging out, and that works too. So a straight strum is simply called down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, it's going to depend whether your song, the down, ups in sequence, how many down, ups do you do per chord where it marks where the chord is. So if you're playing a C chord in a song and then it moves on to another chord, what timing do you have to do that? Well, if you know the difference between a rock song and a waltz song, a rock song is typically in what we call 4/4 time. So there are 4 beats per measure. So if you've ever taken a look at piano music, and most of us have, even if we have never played the piano, there's notes on these 5 lines, and then there's a line that separates that group of notes before the next group of notes start. Well, there's typically 4 beats per measure, and those are called measures between those lines. So you might have a 1. So if you hear people count in, you go a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go and you count your beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4/4 time. But some songs, there's a lot of jazzy and bluesy songs that are in what we call 3/4 time. Well, if you've ever taken waltz lessons in school as a kid, you will know that that beat is a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that just changes how many beats you do for your down ups for your strumming pattern. So now we're just going to start with a basic strumming pattern for either 4/4 time, rock classic, or 3/4 time, more jazzy blues. And then there's lots of other songs that utilize that theory. All right, so I'm going to stay on my C chord, which is my first string, 3rd fret, and I'm going to put my 3rd finger down on there. And I'm just going to do straight strums, which is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up in 4/4 time. So we'll do a count, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that is what we call straight strumming. If you're going to have a strumming pattern that says down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. See how it slightly gives a little bit more variation to that strumming pattern? The whole idea is you strum down. You just don't strum when you bring your hand back up. You just miss pulling the strings back up. So it sounds more like this. It's all right. So you just don't actually pull the strings up when there's nothing to pull up. So you have down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. But your hand still moves in the motion that you need in order to come back up to play that down strum again. So that is 4/4 time. And notice I'm putting more emphasis on the first beat. Some songs and some genres of music require you to change the emphasis on the song. So you'll have down, down, up, down, down, up. So it totally depends on the song and what the beat of the song is, where you will change the emphasis of that. So for today's lesson, this video you're watching, just concentrate on the first downstroke as having the more emphasis, which just means you're playing it a little bit louder by pulling the strings down harder. Okay? So that is down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, if you're playing a bluesy song, or there are lots of songs that are in 3/4 time that are more waltzy in their the way they sound, that's 3 beats per chord. So now we go with down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now that you've got a few beats in there, where do you strum on your ukulele? A lot of people think you have to strum over this sound hole right here. Well, that's actually where the sound comes out of. That's where it's projected out of. So we don't want to cover that up. So the best place to strum your ukulele is actually the dead center of your strings, because that's where it vibrates the most. Just based on if you've ever, in science class, ever had an elastic band or a string stretched between 2 points, the very center point is going to have the most vibration, giving you the best sound. So down here, our bridge down here, up to our neck up here, dead center on pretty much every ukulele you'll ever buy, I have 20, I have to confess, is right here. It's actually where the neck meets the body. So if you can strum here, so how do you hold your ukulele? Well, we put our hand here in the crook of our thumb, and often ukuleles, you can actually get your elbow in there, and it fits nicely in your elbow, in your elbow groove here, and see that a lot of ukuleles are fit just nicely with our bodies, don't they? And so that's where you want to strum here, where the neck meets the body. So you're going to have the best sound there. So again, with my C chord, fingernail on the top, strumming down, pulling back up with the flat of your finger. And just practice that until you can get pretty fast after a while. And the other thing too is, don't just use your hand and don't rotate your wrist like this. You'll get very tense and very sore very quickly. Your whole arm should be involved. The other scientific thing behind using your whole arm is it helps with muscle memory and memory when you're playing songs. So it actually helps with you recognizing and remembering your songs. So that's your strumming lesson. So get started with that, and there'll be more to come. Enjoy.